Good morning, Knicks fans. It's ya boy. And you are now tuned into another episode of OU and Knicks podcast. I hope everybody's doing well. Hope you're in a good mood. And let's get right into this. Excuse me if you hear any noise background. I think I'm going to have to go get an office. Yes, the Knicks will be playing tonight, featuring the Memphis Grizzlies. I'm not sure if Ja Morant is back. I truly believe that he is. And if he is, it's going to be a tough battle for the Knicks. Going against him and Clark and the guys. I like Grayson Allen. He's definitely a how can I say, a hard-nosed player. So let's talk about that right now. What do we need to see from the Knicks in order for them to win tonight against the Memphis Grizzlies? One thing that I feel like the Knicks need to work on is to prevent Julius Randle and Elfrid Payton from fading out RJ Barrett. If Tom Thibodeau can get it in their heads to stop fading out one of the best offensive players that's on the Knicks at this current time, I'm sure that the Knicks can come out with a win. Too many times we've seen RJ Barrett standing on the sideline only to get faded out by Julius Randle or Elfrid Payton. At first I thought maybe it was because they didn't trust him. And now I'm beginning to believe it's because they don't want him. What made me feel this way is the interview that Julius Randle gave. And they was asking him to talk about, RJ Barrett and his growth this year with the Knicks. And it seems like Julius Randle didn't even really want to talk about RJ Barrett. It seemed like Julius Randle was, how can I say, irritated from the thought of even mentioning RJ Barrett. Not to say that he came out with blatant hate, but you could tell that this was something that Julius Randle wasn't interested in talking about at that point in time.
I'm just scratching the surface.
We have to come to realization that maybe RJ Barrett and Julius Randle are not meant to play for the same team. Maybe RJ needs to be the focal point of the team, and you surround him with the talent. Throughout this season, we've seen RJ Barrett take the initiative to be a passer. We've seen RJ Barrett take the initiative to be a scorer. We've seen RJ Barrett take the initiative to be a leader for this team. So why not hand him the keys and let him take us to the promised land? Why not give him the keys to the city and see where it takes us instead of focusing on Julius Randle? Here's what I've noticed about Julius Randle. Julius Randle deals with an emotional problem. And sometimes that can work for you, but sometimes it also can hurt you. And when you're a person who let their emotions get in the way of their game, you tend to hurt your team. And this is what I've seen from Julius Randle over the last few games. He gets emotional that he's not getting the calls that he wants to get. He gets emotional that he's getting called for certain fouls that he feels that he shouldn't be called for. And that results in him taking bad shots and him already being under the pressure of being the leader of the team. It makes him take terrible shots. We've seen it countless and countless of times from Julius Randle to where he'll just chuck up anything, it rims off, and then he acts like it's nothing. That's not a leader that you need for your team. You need a leader that's going to be precise with the things that he's doing. You need a leader who's going to be conscious of the actions that he makes and how it affects his team. When you look at RJ Barrett and RJ Barrett don't get a call, yeah, sure. We're pretty sure he gets mad. But one thing about RJ Barrett is he continues to play. It's on to the next play for RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett is not going to let the referees get him to the point to where he cannot focus and do what he needs to do to get his team to win. But I'm talking about what RJ Barrett did right before. You seen when he turned the ball over. Once they missed and he came up and got that three, he redeemed himself. He let us know that no matter what the pressure was,
I'm just scratching
he can handle it. But we've seen Julius Randle under these same circumstances and him not do what RJ Barrett did. I think that it's imperative for Tom Thibodeau to be able to fix the rotations where RJ Barrett is featured more. If we are able to feature RJ Barrett more, not only will that help out his game and prove that he is the leader of the Knicks, but it will also help out Julius Randle, Reggie Bullock, and the rest of the players that's on the team. We only see RJ Barrett get featured on like 3 certain plays on when they playing. For him to be the second scorer on your team, the person you're fixated on, there should be no reason he's being left out. He's being left out the offense like that. There's no reason. And this is where my blame for Tibbs comes in. If you are the coach and you seen, and if you looked at the last game that we just played, if you see what Coach Thibodeau did, he pulled Rose over to the side and was like, get the ball to RJ Barrett because he has the hot hand. If you look back at the game, you can see him pull Derrick Rose to the side and say, get RJ Barrett the ball. And what did RJ Barrett do? But when Julius Randle had the same plays, what did he do? Fumble the ball. But this all comes with coaching. This all comes with having your team in the right mindset and knowing how to switch up the play in order to benefit your team. That is the job of a coach, to read the game and to make adjustments where they need to be made. The role of a coach. That is what a coach is supposed to do. But when you sit up there and hold your feelings and keep relying on the same guys who are not delivering, then that means that you are a problem, because that means that you don't see where changes need to be made. Why didn't Frank Ntilikina play in that game against Brooklyn Nets? We've seen countless of times where Frank Ntilikina have locked Kyrie Irving down. We've seen where he have locked all point guards down. Why wouldn't you put him in? Why wouldn't you put a lockdown defender on Kyrie Irving? Why wouldn't you put a worthy defender on Kyrie Irving when the situation called for it at that time? Why wouldn't a coach do that? These are the things that I worry about when it comes to Tibbs. I worry about him choosing veterans and having a one-track mind on certain situations to where he doesn't see a benefit that's right there in his face. These are the things that I worry about. And I'm not saying that Tom Thibodeau is a bad coach. He's a great coach. But even great coaches have faults. Why hasn't Kevin Knox played? He's shown you countless and countless of times that he can hit the shot. Not only that, that he's improved in his defense. Why isn't he getting the playing time that he's deserved and he's an elder statesman on the team. He's been there longer than the majority of the players that's there now. Why isn't he getting a shot? Why isn't Kevin Knox being played more when he has one of the best shots on the team? I understand that we have Burks. I understand that we have Reggie Bullock. But understand, the more shooters, the better shooters. The more shooters that you can have on the floor, the more you can space the floor, the more you can get better shots for your team. These are the things that I think about when I think about Tom Thibodeau. I think that these things need to start taking effect if he has any hope. And I mean any hope. Of reaching the playoffs. Of even getting a sniff of the playoffs. Tell me what you guys think. Tell me everything that you guys think. How do you feel about the situation? Do you agree with some of the things that I had to say? Do you agree that Tom Thibodeau needs to work on this team a little bit more in order to reach the goal that we are all sure that he wants to reach, which is the playoffs at this point in time? Until then, man, if you're new to the channel, make sure that you like and subscribe, hit that notification button, link with us on Twitter, and I'm out.